So this is where you were working?
Yeah.
When Jason headed into work at this restaurant, he wasn't prepared for what happened next.
There was like a notice that you can't enter the premises without
eviction
permission.
notice.
Yeah, and I was like shocked.
That was 2 years ago. Documents from the restaurant's liquidation show that Jason and his colleagues were owed $230,000 in pay, annual leave and superannuation.
How much money were you owed by the business?
It's like nearly 7,000, and then super.
Did you think you'd get that money?
I thought I would get that one because I have complained to Fair Work and then FEG.
FEG, or FEG, is a government scheme of last resort that pays out missing entitlements.
The FEG scheme is a really crucial safety net for workers when the company that they work for goes belly up.
Now the government is reviewing FEG after claims that it's being rorted. Data shows that of the $200 million paid out to workers under the scheme last financial year, almost half of these came out of company collapses with question marks over them.
Companies that were deliberately restructured in a way to avoid paying those entitlements. What we want to do is weed out the rogue players in company transactions and insolvencies to stop them from pushing their responsibilities onto taxpayers generally.
The review is also prompting calls for change. This tradie, who doesn't want to be named, got a payout from FEG 2 years ago when the builder that he worked for collapsed.
So what did it mean for you that FEG paid out your annual leave?
It was very comforting. It was very good the way they handled it.
Along with more than 100 colleagues, he was also owed superannuation, but FEG won't cover that.
How did you feel when the super wasn't covered?
Well, that was a little bit deflating. I consider this wage theft. We're entitled to that. We've worked our time. We've worked for the company.
When Jason applied to FEG, he received nothing, while his 9 colleagues got $67,000 between them. That's because, unlike them, he is not a permanent resident or an Australian citizen.
And I was like totally depressed because I was working full-time paying tax. They think I'm outsiders. So I feel like more sad and like terrible. Hi.
There you go. Please take a seat.
A migrant workers' rights legal centre that's trying to help Jason says the scheme needs to cover people on working visas.
The fair entitlements guarantee is neither fair nor a guarantee for the more than 1.5 million workers on temporary visas in this country.
As well as protections for migrants, Matt Kunkel is lobbying for super to be added too.
What we see here quite often is that superannuation is not paid, and it's not paid for a really long time.
Ahead of the federal election, Labor says that it's hearing calls about adding superannuation to FEG, but that migrants aren't a current focus. The coalition says they'll wait for the outcome of this review, while the Greens say that both super and migrant should be added to the scheme.
This tradie agrees.
And you got this payout because you're an Australian citizen. Migrants who work for collapsed companies don't get these payouts. How do you feel about that?
I think that's not a very good situation because that person's actually a worker. He's actually worked for his entitlements and he's paid tax.
As an election looms, the FEG review might drag out all year.